Geek Out! Hey, welcome to another installment of From Geek Out with Love. I'm Sam.
I'm Jake.
I'm Rich.
I'm Garrett.
This week we're going to be talking about 1983's Octopussy.
It's my mom's favorite.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Why Octopussy?
I don't know. She doesn't know either, I don't think. Anytime I mention James Bond, she's like, oh, that's my favorite. Okay.
The gorilla outfit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or the Roger Moore as a sad clown.
Yeah, clown getting fucking knifed in the back. You got a fake egg, you dumb motherfucker.
The all the Indian stereotypes at once, or
No, like
the razor yo-yos.
Oh, the razor yo-yo. No, like it's been a long time. Like we've all kind of mentioned in the past, like this is the one. Like we don't forget it happened, but we just like honestly, like I had to rewatch this one today because I just didn't remember. Like
you hadn't seen any of the previous ones.
I hadn't rewatched any of the previous ones, but I was just like, what? And so I was watching it, and
he goes to India, I think.
Yeah, I don't think I've watched any of the ones previously, but I know I did like Fear Eyes Only, and I think maybe another one. But like those were like for fun. I'm like, oh yeah, sweet. But like this one, in the beginning was 009 gets like knifed in the back, and then he crashes in like all bloody into the egg, and I was like, oh well, at least he got the job done. And the next scene they're like, it's a fucking wrong egg, and I was like, oh shit, man, he's dressed as a clown, he got the wrong egg. 009.
Not a great time for 009.
Not a good time. He's carrying balloons. Like, dude, you don't have to be a clown anymore. Like, let go of the balloons.
You can
dude.
take off the makeup in those fucking literal clown shoes.
I'm not dying as a clown. I'm ripping that wig off and letting go of the balloons. Yeah. Oh my lord.
Oh my sweet lord.
Yeah.
This is a film, and Roger Moore. Honestly, this isn't the last Roger Moore film, but I think in this movie he looks the most like shit.
He looks
disgust.
Well, I mean, View to a Kill. He's pretty rough sauce in that one.
Yeah, he's in better shape though, because the thing is with Octopussy, he was a late minute addition. They were like, let's get James Brolin, and then Sean Connery's like, I'm going to do my own Bond movie. And they're like, fuck, let's get Roger Moore back.
Oh yeah, let's get that out of the way. Never Say Never Again was a movie that happened at the same time.
And different studio. Kevin McClory, the guy that has the rights to Thunderball, had the rights. He's dead now.
He's dead now.
Comes out the same year in direct competition.
Yeah.
Ends up losing.
That is fucking wild. That'd be like if
2 Star Wars movies.
It was like 2 like Superman movies coming out at the same time.
Different studios.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of them's got George.
Have you ever had anything similar, like in our, movie going
Dante's
live?
Peak and Volcano. Is that what it's called, Volcano?
Yeah. Deep Impact Armageddon.
Yeah,
but
Deep
that's
Impact
the same
Armageddon.
character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's any.
I mean,
the asteroid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a weird fucking thing to happen.
Yeah.
And it's not just like, oh, it's the same character. It's
literally the same character.
It's literally the same character, but it's also like the OG motherfucker is back.
Yeah, the guy who used to play, the guy who invented the character.
Yeah. It'd be like if when it's like they're doing a new Batman movie, and like Michael Keaton came back, and he's like, "I'm back," and you're like,
Batman.
I'm
Batman.
"Yeah, I'm Batman."
Have Michael Keaton for Dark Knight Strikes Again.
Yeah.
I mean, what's he doing now that he's not? That founder money won't last forever.
No. He was an American Assassin.
Yeah, that's right.
Every dad's favorite movie this year.
Yeah, he bites a dude's ear off. Spoilers.
Does he in that movie? Oh, okay. Good for him. No, but anyway, yeah. I mean, I remember there's a time early on when like we weren't fucking how many movies deep into this podcast. We're like, yeah, let's do a Never Say Never Again episode, and I was like, I don't want to fucking do it. And like I was the one who was like championing it, and then halfway through I was like, no, we'll mention that it happened.
Just go through and take the Thunderball episode, and like every time the word Thunderball is said,
just Never Say Never Again.
Yeah. doesn't have Tom Jones on the theme song though.
No.
You get that? You do it better. You know the actual words, don't you?
Oh well, no. Remember because we listened to it again, and I had him wrong for like all these years. I just know the never, never, never say never again, never. Never say never again. And I'd always go, do you ever know? And then I remember I listened to it and I was like, I don't think that's not a lyric in the song anyway. I'm like, where'd that come from?
But you actually legitimately love All Time High.
I do like All Time High. I mean, it's not it wouldn't. It's not even in my top. It wouldn't be in my top 3 favorite Moore themes because Moore has some really great themes.
Yes,
but I think it's okay. I mean, I think it's
honestly
fine.
The only bad Moore theme is the Man with the Golden Gun.
Yeah,
you could, and Moonraker's kind of forgettable.
It's kind of, but again, it's Shirley
Bassey
back. So that's like Sean Connery coming back for Bond. But wouldn't that be fucked up if like she came back and did the theme for Never Say Never Again?
Oh yeah, they just get everybody except for the Broccoli's and Roger Moore.
But no, I think All Time High is fine. You
get the Mark Wahlberg cover.
Yeah, well, I mean that's when it really came back in the prominence there, big time. I was like, that's such a Seth MacFarlane thing too to zero in on that one.
Yeah.
I don't. What was the rationale? Was he just obsessed with that song? I can't remember what the rationale was for because I like the first Ted. I don't remember what the rationale was.
That was him and Mila Kunis's like song.
It was just okay from Octopussy. Okay.
It was just All Time High.
Yeah.
Garrett, you're the biggest champion for the late great Sir Roger. What is, as an overview, what are your thoughts on his penultimate outing?
It's just his heart's not in it. You can tell, and I mean, there's certainly some bizarre stuff in there. There's the razor yo-yo, which is quite a scene, and the various circus things. I mean, that's there, I guess. I don't know. I'm not really a huge fan of this movie. It's not. I don't think it's bad by any stretch of the imagination. I just don't think it. I don't think it quite has the same energy that some of the other Roger Moore films have.
Would you say
it kind of feels to me like it's just kind of going through the motions almost.
Would you say that when Roger Moore's heart isn't in it, it's still better than when Sean Connery's heart isn't in it?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, this is leagues better than Diamonds Are Forever, I think.
Yeah.
But there is a certain extent to which Roger Moore Bond really is, it keys off of Roger Moore, or I don't know keys, but like it's so character central, I guess, where like when Roger Moore is having a good time, the movies are a lot of fun to watch, even when it's doing something that you're like, what in the world is going on here?
Yeah.
Where when his heart's not in it, it's kind of hard to get excited yourself.
That's true. I mean, even like the zany one-liners in this kind of almost seem last second half-assed, like he's always like turning to the camera and like shouting, real quick.
He fucking Tarzan yells.
Oh yeah, he does Tarzan yell. Yeah. The intro, we always seem to talk about the intros in these because they're, the cold opens are so kind of iconic. I think there's some really fun stuff in the intro. I mean, him, like there's some shots in here. I'm like, that's some pretty ballsy shit. Like, him. I mean, granted, it's like the green screen with him and the missile, but the shot of him kind of like dodging the missile around, going through the hangar, the giant fake horse ass or whatever. I love his outfit that he just flips everything inside out, and it's the military outfit.
Oh yeah.
That's just, and he's like, even his hat he flips inside out.
Yeah.
Well, but then it freeze frames. He's like, fill her up, and he's like, oh, and like the hands come in, and there's like, the naked chick with the guy supposed to be Bond on like obviously rollerblade just spinning around like over and over again. Yeah, it's wild, man. But
I think one of the things that I'm surprised hasn't been mentioned yet is Maud Adams. Because her role is one of the more iconic roles, I think, in the history of the series. One thing that I kind of forgot when I was rewatching this was kind of the chemistry that her and Moore had together.
Yeah.
I don't know, when I watch it, like they kind of just seem to work together, but it's abundantly clear by the end of this movie, like it's time for him to go. Like his run is over at the end of it, like should be over at the end of this movie, but it's not. And somewhat jokingly, this is actually Maud Adams' second of the third time second of 3 times that she'll be in a Bond movie, because I believe she was an extra in the next one. She just happened to be set for the day.
Yeah, because she was actually friends with, they had become friends on the set of Man with the Golden Gun.
Yeah.
I think that kind of speaks to that natural chemistry.
Yeah,
here.
I honestly think that's one of the reasons my mom likes this movie. For real. In case anyone else was wondering. I think
She's got a thing for Maud Adams.
Yeah, I think she likes Maud Adams. She's like, oh, I like Maud Adams. Again, I don't know. She might just. I'm sure if I walked up to her now, I'm like, "Is your favorite movie Octopus?" She's like, "Why would you say that out loud?"
As a kid, you never questioned the fact that there's a fucking major Hollywood film called Octopussy.
Yeah. Well, I love Roger Moore. The way he plays it off and What's Her Face is like, it's my Octopussy. And like Moore is just like, that's why you cast Moore. He's almost like, oh boy, with his face. That was that's good. Because he gets it, man. Like, he gets,
Well, one of my favorite... Garrett, this is a favorite moment of yours. When he's sliding on the banister at the end. And he shoots the fucking thing off at the bottom of the staircase. That for you is the winner, isn't it?
Yeah, I had forgotten about that until you said it. Now it's, like, very clear in my mind.
Where he's, like, at the climax when he's, like, basically machine gunning people left and right in the palace. And he sees that his nuts are about to hit whatever the fuck at the end of the... banister, and just like his eyes like, oh no, and just shoots it out.
Oh man,
forget all the other bad dudes. This is the priority right now. My testicles will thank me later.
Also, isn't they reference Property of a Lady? Isn't that a short story?
It is.
Yeah, nice little thing. I also like the one agent that he comes across in India. He's as the Snake Charmer plays the Bond theme.
Oh, VJ, yeah. He was actually a tennis player, like a tennis pro.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Nice.
That's why his cover was Tennis Agent, and then he gets fucking razor yo-yoed.
Yeah. The razor yo-yo, that is one thing that, like, I think when anyone mentions, like, Octopussy, I always am like, razor yo-yo and clown outfit. Which is, like, the weirdest thing. I mean, razor yo-yo kind of makes sense in the pantheon of James Bond shit. Like, it's not that out there.
Yeah, it's compared to, like, odd jobs like...
Razor Hat or Jaws' Teeth or...
One thing that I saw that now I really want is apparently there was sold like a kid's toy that is the razor yo-yo.
Oh, fuck yeah. Hang on.
So now
I'm gonna eBay that.
I'm
quick.
looking at it right now.
Yeah.
Everybody
Get our crack teams on it now.
Yeah. I will say, like, I do like Louis Jordan as Kamal Khan. He's clearly having a good time.
He was in Swamp Thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right around the same time with Adrian.
It only hurts when I laugh. That movie's wild, man.
He's not known for.
He's not known. I can't remember what it is. He's not known for.
He's not known. Like, there's a line that Louis Jordan has in Swamp Thing where he's just like, he's not known for being discreet.
And then it just cuts to him in the woods going, ah, screaming. Oh boy.
And that's Wes Craven's Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
But no, like, Kamal Khan is a fun. He's not necessarily a memorable villain, but he's having a good time, and by extension, I'm kind of having a good time.
Sure.
Playing, backgammon or tiger hunting, and that sort of thing.
Going back to
eating sheep's eyes.
Yeah, going back to Swamp Thing, the outfit in the second Swamp Thing movie is fucking awesome, and
Really?
the TV show, fuck yeah, that's awesome outfit.
I still have my old Swamp Thing action
Yo-Yo.
figure.
Oh, it's just a spy card. I was like, damn it.
Oh, you got my hopes up. I was like, you already found it? It's already for sale on eBay.
Was the second Locklear where she becomes like Mrs. Swamp Thing?
Yeah, I've never seen it. I've just seen his outfit, and I'm a big fan of like those old, those kind of that look, the practical outfits.
You're not missing anything with that movie.
Yeah, no, I figure. But the thing about Swamp Thing is like nowadays, they'd obviously make him, CG. But I remember like seeing his outfit and being like, it looks pretty fucking good for Swamp Thing. Hang on a second.
If there's one thing we know on the James Bond podcast.
Yeah, it's Swamp Thing.
Now, okay. You mentioned,
Sam, see, there you go.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
pretty good, right?
As far as like,
well, because like in the
low
first,
budget Swamp Things.
In the first one, he doesn't have any fucking fungus on him. He's just like green. Like a green, like, and when he moves, you see like the like weird like fold in like the, whatever it's made out of.
The back hump.
Yeah, this is pretty good.
But what would you say is your well? You mentioned liking the prologue a bit. This is actually I'm trying to no, that's right. The Soviets are still the bad guys in View to a Kill and Living Daylights. What would you say are some of your what is the thing that takes you out of the movie the most?
Well, I think like Garrett was saying, like you can tell, and it's sad to see with more because this is the first one where you really start to see everything. Like maybe it's time, because with Free Eyes Only, we talked about like that. I think his look and feel work for that style of movie. For this one though, it's kind of jarring too because some of it is kind of like dark and serious. Like 009 dies.
Rogue Soviet officer.
Yeah.
There's a moment in this movie when like he's holding the General Orlov or whatever at a gunpoint, and a Soviet soldier like opens the door to the train car that he's in, and Roger Moore just like turns around and shoots him right in the fucking head, and like the look on that dude's face, he's just like, oh hey, and just like I always felt sorry for that dude.
Yeah. No, I think again it's just a mix of the humor and the darker elements, and then it really is unfortunately the real clear decline of kind of the Roger Moore Bond. I think that's kind of overall because it has some amazing set pieces. I think the car chase through the streets is kind of fun. Where like he's like pulling the sword out of the sword Soliver's mouth, and the guy on the spikes is like, "Fuck you, that's my bed." Yeah, I mean, there's some fun stuff, and you get the iconic white top tuxedo look. And again, I don't think that like Moore's particularly bad as Bond because he still has that charm because just there's something about Moore you just love watching Moore as Bond, but it's the clear beginning of the end,
Yeah.
For Moore's Bond.
No, I also think that it's the beginning of the end, but like by the time you get to View to a Kill, like he's like, okay, I'm done, but fuck it,
Well, yeah, that has that going for it. Where it has
this
thing.
one, he's just like, I want to be done, so bad, and they won't let me, and like, you got to be fucking kidding me! I have to do this shit again.
That should have been the plot of the movie. It's like, Bond, you got to fill in for 009. I don't wanna. And he's like globe trotting around the world.
Well, the reason why I say that he looks worse in this movie than he does in View to a Kill, the option when he was signed on for Octopussy. There was an option as part of that signing to do View to a Kill. So he knew months in advance that he was coming back to be Bond. That's why he was able to like slim, because you look at him in some of the action scenes in View to a Kill, he's not as like, there's some scenes where you're just like, dude.
And the thing about Roger Moore too is like, I mean this says in the nicest way possible, he was never a graceful fighter in the movies, you know what I mean? It's the old kind of whoop, like real wind back, gut punch, and then kind of thing. But
and there's a few like even in the there's a few points where he goes and he's like shooting bad guys or whatever, and he's just like, they are some of the dumbest looking like I'm shooting a gun things that I've ever seen in my life. Like he's just kind of like waving this fake gun around and like people are falling down. It's like he's drunk or something.
Yeah. Well, you never know.
Rich, what takes you out of Octopussy the most?
Well, I don't know if there's like a one thing that takes it, that takes me out the most. I'm not a fan of the Tarzan or the gorilla suit or even or the dressed as the circus clown. I think that this is like, we've said this throughout the Moore era, that a lot of his movies kind of blend together. That if you say, tell me about this movie, you might be able to name certain set pieces or certain like clips, like calling him kind of like, how I referred to Moonraker is like the perfect YouTube Bond. I think this is one of them where, a lot of casual people will know, okay, Maud Adams, she's in charge of something, there's some Russians involved, Bond globetrots across the world, and it went up against the Connery Bond that's not technically a Bond movie, but is a Bond movie. I think a lot of casual people can say that about that much when they think of Octopussy off the top of their head. And I think that's about, if you were to ask them to go into any more detail than that, or like really plug them, you'd start hearing stuff about For Your Eyes Only, or The Spy Who Loved Me, or some of his other movies, like some plot points being thrown in there. So I think that this is really like one of those movies that, I don't want to say it's not forgettable, but off the top, off the cuff, I don't think the casual fan can walk you start to finish and really get into the plot points on this one.
I think, kind of going along with like comparisons to other movies. We talked in the For Your Eyes Only episode about how like that was kind of intended to be sort of the tonal opposite to Moonraker, but I think like in a way this film is almost the opposite of Moonraker, where like Moonraker is a movie where when it's on the screen, no matter what you're looking at, you're like, okay, this is pretty cool. Like, I don't know what's going on, but it's pretty cool. Where in this movie, if you just kind of like tune into a scene, you're like, what the fuck is going on and why do I care? Like, I don't know. It just doesn't have the same charisma that some of the other films have, where they can just grab you. This one's just kind of, a lot of the times, just there,
I think if you asked...
Background Bond.
Yeah, well, yeah, more. I mean, like I said, I mean it in the nice way possible. It is kind of background. This is definitely background Bond. But I think if you asked, like, just a random person about Roger Moore Bond, they would know Octopussy because Octopussy, but they probably would not know much. Like, I feel like this is probably, from title alone, the most well-known Roger Moore movie because of the title. But like you were saying, Rich, I think even the casual fan wouldn't know much besides the fact that there's a Bond movie called Octopussy, or there's a Roger Moore movie called Octopussy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I mean, like, what we've said, like, Razor Yo-Yo and, like, the big set pieces is, it's India and stuff and the Fabergé egg, but like, is there a like truly iconic Bond thing from Octopussy?
A standout moment?
I mean, it's like, we've jumped to like goofy things, like we've mentioned the clown outfit, the grill outfit. It's like
horse ass.
Yeah, the horse ass. I remember because when that popped up in the trailer post, I was like, oh, that's right. But I mean, what's if any, what's the most iconic thing about Octopussy? I mean, is it just the theme?
I think it really is, the white top tuxedo.
Yeah, I mean, you get
But even then, like, I don't know that people would be like, oh yeah, that's Octopussy. It's like, no, that's Roger Moore, James Bond. Like,
exactly,
that image kind of stuck. But I don't know that most people would know where it came from.
Yeah.
When I think of the white tuxedo jacket, Moore is easily the first of the Bonds that comes to mind.
Oh, really?
Yeah, without question. I don't. When I think of Connery's Bond, like when I think of Roger Moore's Bond, I don't picture him in anything other than a white top tuxedo. When I think of Connery, I think of him like in the Caribbean. Like that's just how I've always like that. That's the first image that comes to mind. And then when I think of Brosnan and Craig, I don't really.
They're like the unbuttoned top.
I don't really see the white top tuxedo, and Craig didn't wear one until Spectre. I don't think so.
The Brosnan and Craig are very casual Bond. Like they look like they're on like vacation. They have like the top unbuttoned, no tie.
Yeah.
Lazenby's definitely the kilt, and Dalton's beat the fucking shit out of. He's battle damage Bond, which is the best.
I really do like the rickshaw chase. If there's the entire impetus for the film is they wanted to do something that had to do with like Bond, like having an action set piece on trains. That is from which Octopussy sprung forth.
2 hours and 10 minutes.
But there you go. I think that's kind of the problem, is that especially with this being Moore's fifth movie, sixth movie. I mean, it's been there, done that. Like everything that's in this movie. Like when you sit down, like if I were to sit down and watch this again, and just look at it kind of from this perspective, you can go through that movie and say, oh yeah, I saw him do something similar to this, and it was better in this movie. I saw him do something similar to this, but it was better in this Bond. And you could go back to all of his other Bonds and say, oh yeah, he did something similar, but it was better in that movie. Like it's. I think that's kind of the point that I was making, where it's abundantly clear he's got to go at the end of this movie, and they need to hit reset, but they don't.
No, because they decided to exercise that option. They didn't want to do the old play or pay thing, so they're just like, fuck it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's bring him back. He's still willing. He's not in his 60s yet.
Wowee!
Yeah. I still prefer Octopussy over View to a Kill and Man with the Golden Gun, though.
I agree with that. I mean, the only saving grace of View to a Kill is Christopher Walken.
That's a hell of a saving grace.
I don't even want to watch Roger Moore in that movie. I just want to watch Christopher Walken for 2 hours straight.
Give me that Zorin.
Yeah.
And honestly, like View to a Kill by Duran.
Yeah,
Duran.
That's an old deep cut.
Duran is probably the best Bond theme of the 80s.
Real quick.
Well,
real quick. It's probably the most popular. It is the most popular. But like, real quick, we were playing some game with my mom and sister today, and I knew the answer was Duran Duran. Yeah. Like it was a question, and I was like, "Oh, I know this," and I shouted "Dire Straits," and I went, "Why the fuck did I say that?" Because then I eliminated myself from it, and I knew the answer was Duran Duran. And I yelled "Dire Straits" instead. That's a problem. I don't know why I did that.
That's your knee-jerk reaction. Just Dire Straits.
I was like, and they were like, they did the Bond. I was like,
"Dire Straits in the ass again."
Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah, Dern.
Yeah. There's, I'm just thinking, you've got Kamal Khan, who's, again, he's having a good time, maybe more than the audience. You've got Steven Berkoff pre First Blood Part 2 as a bad Russian officer.
As the same Russian officer. His death is faked in this movie. He shows up in First Blood Part 2.
Yeah, so he can get blown to smithereens by John Rambo in Vietnam.
Yeah, real quick. That death, the fake out that Rambo does in First Blood Part 2 is the funniest fucking fake out where they got 2 helicopters chasing each other.
Yes.
We're led to believe that Rambo's helicopter is shot down. I buy this, I guess. He expertly lands it on a rock in a river with it's smoking and the front windshield is broken and the helicopter from far away, they're not close. Yeah. From far away lowers and sees that Rambo is pretending to be passed out in the cockpit, right? Yeah. And the Russian's like, good, he's dead. And then Rambo goes, surprise! And he wakes up and he grabs the rocket launcher and shoots him
through the hole
in the windshield. Yeah. And the guy's like, fuck! And then blows up. He's like, Rambo in his head, he's like, 5, 4, 3, 2, surprise! And then,
You know who wrote that action sequence?
James Cameron?
Yes.
Yeah, well... it's weird. It's always weird that Rambo's like, I'm pretending to be knocked out, and then he wakes up and then fires a fucking inside of an enclosed space a fucking rocket launcher
at another helicopter.
And his last thought is, fuck.
There's still Rambo 3 where he's in a tank and he basically plays chicken with a gunship.
Yeah,
and wins.
Yeah,
because Rambo always wins.
Yeah, that part's awesome.
Are you more Rambo 3 or First Blood Part 2?
See. That is the eternal question, because I'll give you a reason why First Blood Part 2 rules and a reason why Rambo 3 rules. A reason why First Blood Part 2 rules is the ambush sequence in that where the Russian... First of all, he picks that one guy off from the back and he can't speak. Yeah. He
drags him away.
He picked, and all that guy would have to do is go, turn around. He's here. But he grabs him and he's like... And it's he picked the right guy. But then he covered himself in mud. And a guy steps in front of a wall of mud. And you see, in the greatest shot in cinema history, one eye open up. So you see an eyeball in a sea of mud. And then he comes out and stabs the guy. He went to all that trouble to take out that one dude. Also, he blows up that guy with the explosive tip arrow. Do you see his boots right there?
Yes. Dies with his boots on.
Yeah, and then he, him grabbing the machine gun off the helicopter. I was like, that was the Rambo I was waiting to see, shirtless jacked Rambo with the machine gun.
Yeah.
Rambo 3 though has that moment when they're doing the soccer game.
Yes.
With
Dead Goat.
Yeah, and they have the warship fly in.
Yeah.
And it starts annihilating everybody, and John Rambo's and he like runs up and he gets on the like anti-aircraft gun.
Yeah.
And there's that great moment where you see him like rack it back. He's like, shh. And then he turns, and then it's like the entire movie shifts because he turns, and like everything stops. And he hears dun 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 dun, and like as he's firing, dun 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 dun, the camera takes the time to pan down, and just you see his jacked arms firing the machine gun, dun, 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 dun. And that stuck with me for fucking ever, man. Also, he when he pours the gunpowder in his own wound and lights it on fire. And he still doesn't scream because he's Rambo. He just goes, "Oh, Jesus!"
You may scream. There is.
Yeah, there's no shame. I don't know, man. I honestly don't know. I really don't know.
You guys have a you know,
First Blood Part 2 or Rambo 3?
I've never seen 2 or 3.
Oh.
I've only seen 1 and 4.
Oh, fair. That's
I've never
fair.
seen any of them, so.
Oh, okay.
1 is incredible.
One.
And 4, the scene where he's got the 50 cal,
Oh, the greatest.
just taking dudes out. I
Greatest.
mean, that's a hell of a scene.
I actually really like 4 a lot.
Garrett can verify this. First time I saw Rambo 4 was on a date.
Perfect. That's so perfect, man.
That's awesome.
I remember, I swear to God, I got emotional when I was watching it with my friends in the theaters because we knew that scene was coming because like that was like the Red Band trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he like cuts the guy's head off with a machete and he blows that fucking guy just to paste in the front and then turns and it's just like dun 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 dun. I remember it's like getting emotional because like this is I get my Rambo moment on the big screen. I finally get to see him go fucking ape shit. Yeah, Rambo 4 or John Rambo or Rambo
To Hell and Back
or Rambo fucking
The
Jack
final
Reacher
fight,
Never
yeah.
Back Down.
Yeah.
Whatever the hell. Yeah, the final fight. It's good. And First Blood is like legitimately a good movie.
Yeah. It's my dad's favorite.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I used to have the whole monologue at the end memorized.
My dad's like ranking of movies for some reason is like number 1 is Jaws.
Good.
And number 2 is First Blood.
That's solid.
Okay.
Nothing is over. You just don't turn it off. Wasn't my war.
Yeah. I remember my father actually gave me, the first time I got a copy of Octopussy, to bring it back a bit, was from my father, and he was like, "It's the last good Roger Moore movie."
Oh,
That's what he told me as he gave it to me.
interesting.
And I was like, all right. And there's some credence to that.
Again, it's not unwatchable. It's not a bad movie.
There's no James Bond movie, I would argue, and you guys feel free to disagree, that is unwatchable.
I mean, I continue to watch these movies, even the ones I don't
There's
like.
a couple that come close.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
If there's some that aren't unwatchable, there's some that come really fucking close.
Yeah, let's say I don't go out of my way for a couple of them. Like,
I don't. Yeah,
the
I'm
only
in
time
no
I'll
hurry.
watch them is if they're on TV.
I'm never in any hurry to watch Die Another Day.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's my least favorite. You know, I've been,
Or Quantum of Solace.
I fucking love Quantum of Solace, motherfucker.
Uh,
I love the headache-inducing insanity of that movie.
I don't know if you remember this, Garrett, but when I got Quantum of Solace on Blu-ray in college, there was like a week where every day I'd just be like, I have an hour and a half.
Yeah, I mean,
Let's watch Quantum of Solace.
Yeah, it's a coda.
I think at that point you were living across the hall, so you were maybe not exposed to that week.
probably.
But no,
I
I mean,
walked in and saw it on the TV and was like, nope.
well, you saw it before any of us did because you were in Europe when it was out in theaters.
Yeah. And then, like, the scene with Mathis where, like, he's talking in French and it's subtitled, but I was not in an English language speaking country, so it was subtitled in a foreign language. Nobody's laughing at his jokes, and I'm just like, that's good. It's good shit. Nice subtitles.
Get those Czech subtitles.
Yeah.
But, you know, fucking Octopussy.
It's
It's there. Garrett, how did you live with me for like 5 years and never see a Rambo film, or was that by design on your part? And then, Rich, how are you like such an aficionado of 80s films and have not seen either of the Rambo sequels of the 80s?
I don't think you ever went through a Rambo phase in college.
But I had them. I had them all.
Well, yeah, but like you would do that thing where you're like, okay, this month is Rocky month, and so like I'm gonna watch all the Rocky movies nonstop on repeat and wear like an Italian stallion silk robe around the apartment and like have a bunch of like books with behind the scenes stuff and just like read those all the time. And like I don't think you ever got into
I call that
a
Saturday
Rambo thing.
morning in the Bell Gladding house.
It's probably a good thing that you didn't get into a Rambo phase, though, because, like, you know, you would have had, like, some kind of memorabilia from that, like a 1-to-1 scale replica of the 50 cal or something, and then we would all gotten expelled.
Yeah. The closest I got was the Roman Gladius.
Yeah, which did not go over well.
Did not. I had to do 10 hours of community service for bringing in a
Having
Roman.
a sword.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's silly. That's very silly.
You have the stuff I could write about my college experiences. They're not like debauchery. They're just like, what the fuck? Like, it's just like the weirdest, quirkiest shit. Like, I was the weirdest, I'm still a weird, eccentric guy, but just like.
I don't even think you were the weirdest, though, is the thing.
Oh, there was tons of dudes that were like certainly more socially awkward than I was. There was runs everywhere.
You never did a cool trick, so.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I wasn't in Sig Ep, but like thank God. But there was runs everywhere guy.
I love that guy.
There was interpretive dance John.
I love that guy.
The
names
there
are
was
great.
Rollerblade Kid.
Rollerblade Kid,
Great.
who for somebody named Rollerblade Kid fucking sucked at rollerblading. He would always like spill out on like
People are, and I went to school there.
You lived in the same building too. You don't remember runs everywhere guy? He would just fucking run everywhere.
Oh, well.
Like a Naruto character.
Yeah.
Like with his arms out behind him and shit.
Yeah.
Like a jet plane, like, and he's just going.
Like the beginning of Octopussy.
Fill her up. But Rich, surely you remember Rollerblade Kid. He was the dude that rollerbladed everywhere.
No, I don't.
I feel like he lived in one of the York rivers too. And he lived in the same Potomac River that we did second year. Like, he lived in Potomac River South, but he got kicked out that year because he got really drunk one weekend, came back and vomited all over all the furniture in the lobby, and they were just like, you gotta go. There wasn't like, I don't know if he even had like
you can rollerblade your ass all the way up 95.
Yeah. Interpretive dance John, I don't know that much about, but I remember seeing him like river dance at like the captain's ball and stuff. So
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta river dance, you know, you just it's just a moment and it has to happen.
I'm trying to think what other like notable ne'er-do-wells we had. But no, I wasn't the weirdest kid in college, but I was
There was always preaching about Armageddon.
Oh yeah.
Great long.
Yeah, Armageddon Man, who actually got escorted off because he did
every college has one of those guys, though.
Yeah, Mason gets them every now and again. But I don't think I was. I mean, certainly that first year was probably me at like, but I didn't do myself any favors, as I think Garrett can confirm.
When it comes to Rambo, I was always told the second and third suck, so I never saw them. That's what it was for.
They're not great
reason.
movies, to be fair.
I think also, like, if you want to watch that kind of film, like, Commando is a lot more up my alley.
Oh, fuck yeah. I could watch Commando over and over and over again and not get bored.
Yeah, the
I
problem
love that movie.
with the Rambo movies is they try to take themselves seriously, where Commando doesn't, and so like it comes off as like, come on, man.
Well, like the Stallone's agreement with Jim Cameron, because I know him,
Jim Cameron.
for Rambo: First Blood Part 2 was he was like, you write the action, I'll write the politics.
Yeah.
And it kind of shows.
Yeah.
And then
Oh god.
yeah. I personally love watching, honestly, more so than Rambo 4. I love watching Rambo 2 and 3 just because they're like disposable 80s action. And I think we're starting to see a downturn you start to see it as early as For Your Eyes Only. We're starting to see a downturn in James Bond box office returns and critical response precisely because there's guys like Schwarzenegger and Stallone.
Yeah.
Like they're at this point now they're ruling the roost.
Yeah.
We don't want our movie heroes to be like 56, a little long in the tooth, a little melty, and effete. We want them to be like jacked to the tits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, we're 5 years out from Bloodsport at this point, at the end of Octopussy, and that just resets everything. The muscles from Brussels.
We're 2 years away from Rambo: First Blood Part 2 at this point. 2 years away from Commando. They both come out in 85. Predator, 87, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Terminator.
First Terminator is what,
83,
84, somewhere around there?
It's after Octopussy. I want to say it's 84.
Okay, so it's 84.
And then the greatest movie of all time is RoboCop. It comes out in 87, and that just slays everything because it's the best movie ever made. It is. Only perfect movie. So.
Also in 83, we're on the tail end of the Star Wars mania.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
about the same year.
We get a ridiculous diner scene in Temple of Doom in 84.
Diner?
That is true.
A dinner scene.
Oh, yeah.
Dinner scene.
Dr. Jones!
It's the... they try to go for it with the sheep's head in this one. Roger Moore's face when he just sees it and just, none of this.
Yeah.
Kamal Khan. Apparently it was made of, like, marzipan.
Oh, really?
It just goes for it. Just, Yeah. And, again, Octopus. Any final thoughts on Octopussy before we just go full tilt 80s?
Not really. I like the theme song. You said, like, you get some good stuff. I mean, I think we've dug out some good stuff in it to look for when you watch it. But it's lost in the shuffle of the really good more and the really bad more. It's kind of just
it has the best credited appearance, I think, of any Bond film, though. Thug with Yo-Yo.
All the other remember there's like the twin knife throwing brothers. Nobody gives a fuck about the twin knife throwing brothers.
They have names, don't they?
Misha. Remember, and he thinks that Roger Moore is his brother until he turns around and it's Roger Moore. It's like, dude doesn't even have doesn't even have the same hair color. He's clearly like taller and fatter, and he's just like Misha. Like he's like happy to see his brother, and then that'd be like the worst thing if I had like a brother, and I was like, oh, cool, Warren. You're Roger Moore. Fuck.
Yeah, good. They killed 009. Fuck them.
Yeah, well, he says as much. He's like, this is for 009.
Yeah.
This for my brother. Fuck that. Yeah. So, I guess we close out Roger Moore next time around.
Yeah.
I think, Rich, if you're down to have a housewarming thing or, now that we're about to be neighbors, if you ever want to see Rambo 2 and 3, I think Jake and I can make that happen.
Oh yeah, I'd be happy to watch that again.
And then
that's not a problem at all. I'll make sure to make the fiance fix up some nice things for us as she's unpacking and we can watch the movie.
Garrett, you'll be in town soon.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to do Rambo 2 and 3?
Possibly.
Sir. Do we get
have to think about
this time?
This time, John, it's up to you.
That's been like our longest, I think, running like Bing Bang Boom like quote thing.
Yeah, my favorite is John. How you doing? Good.
Yeah. Good.
They have no idea what we're talking about because they've never fucking seen.
One day they will, man.
Yeah.
All I can think of is I don't need the gun, John.
Oh, Commando.
How about
Yeah.
How about Rambo?
Again, they have no. Yeah. You take me to America?
Yeah. Oh, and then here's the last one, and Rich will know this one because Rambo 4. He's like, you go into Burma? Yeah. You bring weapons? Yeah. You ain't changing nothing.
I still Rainbow 3. What do we do, John?
Fuck them. Boom. Awesome.
Yeah.
So good, man.
Oh God, I'm looking forward to this. I
have a giant poster of Rambo 3, and it's like...
Is it the one where he just looks... He's got his hands on his hips and he's just staring at you disapprovingly?
No. This is a beautifully illustrated one. It's fucking money. It's let me set the backdrop here. It's massive. It's an all black background, and it's horizontal, so it's like like long, like widescreen,
British style,
yeah, and like widescreen, Jesus, and I don't know what it means, but it's
what's
like,
my war?
Yeah, what's my war? He's like massive, and he's like jacked as shit, shirtless.
I just love how like we just are in awe how jacked Stallone is.
I mean, 3 is where he's a fucking goddamn M1 Abrams tank. But he is like jacked as shit. He's like huge, and then like on the bottom, I think they have the gunship, but they also have like the Afghan warriors,
the Mujahideen.
Mm-hmm. It's awesome, and you can see like his like bow on his back. He's like carrying it and stuff. I gotta find that. That's a good poster, man. You know, I think I bought that at Fair Oaks Mall when it was a Sam Goody.
Okay.
Yeah. So that has to.
If you want really good 80s cheesy action movie posters, somebody either in the last 24 hours or whatever on Etsy, if you got, does anybody watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
Oh yeah.
So you remember when they tried to do their version of Lethal Weapon 5 and Lethal Weapon 6?
Yeah.
Somebody went ahead and designed posters for that. You can buy them on Etsy now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Dennis was tweeting all about it today.
Jake used to have his own Lethal Weapon podcast.
I did, yeah, back in the day.
There was only like 5 episodes.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's that poster. That's a good-looking poster.
Isn't that a good-looking poster?
He is jacked as shit.
Massive.
Yeah, fucking mountain of a man.
Yeah, I don't know. I remember when we watched. Did we watch did we do all 3 in one day? Back, I think before I was living at your place.
Rambo's?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because did you get them on Voodoo or something?
I had the box set.
And then I was like, what? I was like, I still don't know if it's Rambo 2 or 3. I honestly don't know. Yeah, it's the long. This is the long. It's good for the visual podcast.
The Long Halloween.
Yeah, the Long Halloween starring John J. Rambo.
Yeah.
King shit cop.
Can't get a job. Pump gas.
Pump gas.
Trust me with military. Multi-million-dollar equipment. Okay, whole job. Pump gas. Anyway, so next week next time we'll be back with A View to a Kill, closing out the Roger Moore era. You know, this has been another installment of From Geek Out with Love. I'm Sam.
I'm Chris. Shit, I knew I was gonna do it one day.
Wow.
I'm Jake. I'm sorry, I was staring at Jack Stallone.
I'm Garrett.
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, Jack Stallone has that. Anyway, 3, 2, 1.
Goodbye,
James Bond.
This has been another Geek Out production. If you enjoyed what you heard, hey, you know, we've got a special episode every Friday. Of course, there's the usual catching up show every Wednesday. And you get book club episodes just about every Tuesday these days. Thanks for listening.